All right, hello and welcome to the Miracle Morning for Network Marketers audio series / podcast, depending on where you might be finding this information and this content at the moment. My name is Pat Petrini. I'm the co-author of the #1 best-selling book, The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. And in creating this book, we reached out to some of the very top network marketers in the world, and we interviewed them, some of the top performers, both people that have been around the network marketing world for years and even decades, as well as people that are fairly newcomers that have just been around for the last few years, but have had extreme success in those just those last few years. And we reached out, we interviewed them. That's what this series is all about. You're going to hear interviews from a number of different people. And in these interviews, we dive into not only their tips, strategies, techniques, things that have really accelerated their business, but also, and of course this was sort of the thesis, the theme of the book is the Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. We delve into their morning routines and their daily rituals, things that they consider to be critical for success that are really important for them to do every single day. And what we found, the whole concept of the Miracle Morning is that not every successful person does all of these different things every day, but just about every successful person does some of these things every day, has some of these daily rituals, oftentimes morning rituals, and so we dive into that in this audio series. Now, if you're not familiar with the book, you can check out the book, of course, at Amazon. Just go to Amazon and search for The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. You'll find it right there. And then, of course, you can also go to our website. You may be listening to this recording right there on our website, but if you're not, if you're finding it somewhere else, go to tmm4networkmarketers.com. That's TMM, like The Miracle Morning, for FOR, networkmarketers.com. Again, my name is Pat Petrini. I hope you're going to enjoy this interview. I know you're going to enjoy this interview. You might want to have a pen and paper handy, and on with the show. Thanks a lot. All right, welcome everybody to the next, or not necessarily next, to one of our installments of our Miracle Morning for Network Marketers interview series. You may be catching this online, or I guess you're catching it online, but video format, podcast format, wherever you're catching it, we really appreciate you tuning in, and we've got a great interview ahead for you. I'm really excited to be on the phone right now with Loren Slocum. Loren, are you there?
I am here.
Awesome. Well, Loren, thanks so much for spending time with us here. And for everybody listening, if you're not already familiar with Loren, I'm going to get Loren, have Loren kind of give her background a little bit. But she's a longtime entrepreneur, has a very varied background of entrepreneurial endeavors, including some books that she's written and some more coming out in the near future here. And she's worked a lot with the Tony Robbins organization. That Loren, I'd love for you to get into that a little bit. And then, of course, with your experience with network marketing. But walk us through kind of how did you end up kind of taking the entrepreneurial path, and kind of walk us through the different stages that have gotten you to where you are today?
Well, thank you so much. I think for me, the biggest thing, I think I've always kind of had that entrepreneur spirit. I think a lot because of the wounds I experienced when I was younger by watching my father be tied to his office. My dad was an optometrist for 52 years. And, he could never take a day off. If he had to take a day off, that, he would lose money. And
right.
I just had a hard time watching my parents work so hard. So, whenever I could get a job, I would get a job, whether it was working at the flea market with my brother. We made the leather belts where you hammered out the name and painted the name on the, on the purses or the belts or the, whatever it was. I wanted to help.
Yeah.
I wanted to participate in my own rescue, or I was working at the baseball park selling programs, or working as the hot dog girl. So I think I've probably always had that entrepreneur spirit in myself, to just participate in my own rescue, as we would say.
Right, right. And how did you end up connecting with becoming part, or getting introduced to Tony Robbins, and then eventually becoming part of his organization, and also kind of maybe dive into what you've done with the Robbins organization
Sure.
as well?
So I was in college in the 80s, and when I was in college, I went to the University of Georgia, and my boyfriend at the time, we were walking back from a football game, and he saw this book. It said Unlimited Power. And back then, there were no, personal development areas of the bookstore, or, no relationship and health areas. There were just books. And
Right.
He sees the book and he goes, oh, my God, like, unlimited power, that is so you. And he picked up and he flipped the book over, and back then Trini was on the back of the book in a full three-piece suit and the suspenders, and he's on a firewalk lane. And I'm like, and he goes, one day we're going to go to one of these Tony Robbins seminars. And I'm like, you are a freak. I am never going to do anything like that. Just go away. He bought me Tony's book. When I graduated from college, I had a job, offer in Atlanta, but I would do what any good college graduate would do to make their parents proud. And I played rebel, and I moved to Colorado to work on my doctorate of waitressing degree. My parents weren't so happy about that, but I learned how to ski really well. And while I was out there, I decided I wanted to get into sports marketing. And one day I waited on a guy named Joe Harper, who's the general manager of the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club, and he offered me a job, and I'm like, where is Del Mar? And he goes, you're perfect. So I moved to California, didn't know its goal. Next thing I knew, he introduced me to a friend of his, and I had a really cool job. Like, everybody's like, oh, how'd you get that job? Ooh, this and that. And I loved my job, but it was a job, a J-O-B.
Right.
And
yep.
I was like, I wasn't fulfilled. I had always been raised with really strong contribution values, and I was like, I need to give back, in some way. So my friend Tom Landers invited me in November 1989. Of course, I was only 2.5 then. I just turned 50
right.
a couple months ago. And honestly, I feel better in my 50s than I did in my 20s. And he said, look, we're going to go deliver food to the homeless. Do you want to go? I'm like, that'd be awesome. And so I end up at this, 10,000 square foot house in Del Mar, California, and it was shaped like a castle, but everybody's got a 10,000 square foot house at Del Mar, so it was really no big deal. And I walk it with all these, there were about 25 people there, and I was like, oh my God, there's such cool people, I want to be around people like this. And that after we delivered these baskets, I'm walking around the turret of this castle, and I see pictures on the wall, and it's this guy in the present, this guy in Nelson Mandela, this guy in Michael Jackson, and I get to this big shadow box, and it was Tony's book. And Tony was only 29 at the time, and he comes up behind me, he goes, oh, have you read my book? And I'm like, no, I have it, but I have never read it. And I'm like, that wasn't very smart to say to the guy. And he goes, look, you look like you've had a really great time today. I'd like to invite you to stay for dinner. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm 43, and I go to dinner, and my friend Tom invited this really nice guy. He was there with this really nice guy, and the guy's like, what's she doing here? And I'm like, I don't know. That guy invited me. And he goes, this is Tony Robbins' company, and I was in, it turned out that this guy was a fifth employee at Robbins, and he, nice guy, and I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful. Tony asked everybody to stand up and say what they were most grateful for. And at 23, I hadn't really asked myself that question in a long time. And I stood up, and I'm like, I'm just grateful that I met a group of people like this. But I went back, after I had a great time, and it was awesome and connecting with all these really cool people. But I did, unfortunately, what most people do when they have a great opportunity. They're like, oh, that was great. But then they don't really take action. And as Tony talks about, he talks about, the 6 human needs, the need for certainty, the need for uncertainty, the need for connection, love and connection, the need for significance, the need for growth and contribution. And unfortunately, I went back, and unfortunately, I think the reason why most people don't succeed in network marketing is that they go and they get stuck on the one of certainty. Like, well, I've got to pay the bills. I've got to do this and that. And I went back, I'm like, well, there can't really be people like that out there. And so I went back to, like, my job, my J-O-B.
Right.
But I had already met these great people, and I knew they were out there. And about 6 months later, my friend who invited me that Thanksgiving invited me to, we were going to start working part-time, a little business. And he rented a room to me. Well, he rented a room to me that he was also renting out to somebody else. And it happened to be the really nice, cute guy.
Oh, Loren, are you there? We might have lost you.
I don't know what just happened there, but he.
Oh, no problem. I'm hearing you now. So, but yeah, so go ahead. I just lost you for about 5 seconds there.
So this really nice guy who I met on Thanksgiving with my other friend at Tony's place is now the father of my 3 beautiful children.
I love it.
And then that's when I went to a Robbins event, and they asked me to go work for the company in the production department. So I planned all the events. I've always had a really great work ethic, I feel. And I created a volunteer crew program for Robbins because I thought, wow, let's create a community within a community. And then for doing that for many years, then Tony and his wife Sage asked me to move to Fiji. That's when everybody says, oh, poor me. And I moved to Fiji for 2 years with my family and launched Tony's Life Mastery program. We were doing about 36 programs a year, week-long programs, and it's kind of like Groundhog Day. A group of, 50 people would come in. We'd fall in love with those 50 people. Then another group would come in, and then another group would come in, and we did that for 2 years, and I still teach that event. I'm very blessed to be able to teach that event to this day, but not 36 times a year, just, 5 or 6 times a year because the events are larger. So, I don't know, it was very organic. I didn't have I don't know, I think that, I was just open to anything. I didn't in any way think that my life was going to look like that. I just, I love what Eric Worre always says. He says, say yes, tell the world, and figure it out. I mean, that's how I live my life.
Exactly.
I
love that.
I said yes to writing a book, and I told the world, and I figured it out, I said yes to having kids, and I told the world, and they don't give you an owner's manual when you have kids, so you have to figure it out. Same thing about anything. I really believe that, how you do anything is how you do everything. And same thing with network marketing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to say yes after 17 years, and I'm going to tell the world, and I'm going to figure it out. So.
Yes, and so on that topic, actually, since you mentioned that, so you said you were kind of I would love to know sort of how that change happened as well. You said you were saying no to network marketing for 17 years. What was it that you kind of had as your assumption about network marketing, and then what was it that eventually got you to change that assumption and dive into it?
Well, I think there were a couple things. One, someone sold me a product with a network marketing company, and I was back in 1989, but they never told me about the business. And here I was working 4 jobs in Southern California trying to stay above ground. And when I found out that I could have been a distributor, but really I was just sending them all the customers, I was really upset, Yeah. So I think the mistakes sometimes people make is that they might share a product with somebody, but they might not share the business. And
Sure.
Be really careful about where, how you judge people. So that was the one thing. The other thing, though, is that I definitely developed the I'm too cool syndrome, that, oh, my God, which is really ignorance, I was 23, and I thought that I knew the answers to everything. And I listened too much to everybody else's opinion versus really understanding about residual income and about helping other people, succeed. So I said no for 17 years. Every time my friend would get near me, everybody sends me everything. I can't even tell you, still to this day, even though, that I'm very happy and I found a home, people still send me stuff, which is, I appreciate it that they think of me. But, my friend, for 17 years, one day he just goes, that's it. I am tired of seeing you trading your time for dollars and spending all your money, and you're coming to this conference with me. And I'm like, oh, my God, seriously, go away. And then I was like, well, what if this could really help? What if this was a great thing? What if I could really help my friends do well? What if I could create residual income and, work with my sons and work with my daughter, eventually. Now my son is, going to be 20 in a couple months. He works with me. What a freaking cool thing. A kid actually wants to talk to you every day, calls you to tell you how awesome their business is growing. So I said yes because I freaking woke up. I stopped taking my super pills, I think,
Yeah. And tell me, a little bit about what are the, your either, maybe proudest accomplishments, or some, give some people the idea of what you have accomplished in network marketing. I mean, I know, of course, the working with your son, I know it's huge. I know that relationship from the reverse perspective. I've had the opportunity working with my parents and building our lives together in network marketing, and that I've loved having that experience as well. Some of the years in network marketing now.
Well, I think the proudest thing is that I stay true to myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times, I think the other thing that there's a couple things. One, everybody goes, oh, well, of course you're going to be successful. You've worked with Tony for so long. Well, here's what people don't know. I had a very serious conversation with Tony and Sage when they said, I heard you're doing network marketing. I go, well, let me tell you why, And I made a very serious, agreement to them that I would never talk about it at an event. So I was on the road 165 days a year, and that's a pretty serious thing to say, okay, well, now I've only got, less than 200 days a year to talk about my business, to grow my business.
Right.
So I've always respected the space that I'm in. If someone reaches out to me and checks me out to see what I'm doing, but I don't take down anybody's email. I don't have a big list. I create relationships. I love people, So that's really one of the biggest things I'm most proud of. I grew my business at the time faster than anybody had at the time. I figured I wanted to be the Roger Bannister of our company. I was I adopted that all excuses are equal. My daughter was just a couple months old. My kids were very young. I was writing my second book. I was still traveling on the road. So I'm like, look, all excuses are equul. Either give a strong yes or a strong no, but I'm going to do this. I'm either going to do it or I'm going to not, and let's figure it out. So that's what I'm proud of. I'm proud that, I'm very much, I'll kick you in the butt and hug you at the same time.
Yeah, I love that.
So, I've been, some of my friends, I've wanted it more for them, than they've wanted it for themselves. I'll never forget 4 years ago when I got a call from Australia. They said, hey, your girl might not renew her, her distributorship. And I didn't, even though I was doing very well, my expenses are very high. I want to keep all my kids in their private schools, because that was important to me, keep the same lifestyle that I had, and I was going through a divorce. And I'm like, I got to get over to Australia. And I didn't have the money. Vegas, we had experienced hell over here in Vegas, with the recession, and was, a lot of things were going on. And
I might have lost you again.
I don't know why I keep losing you, but I'm here.
There you go. Now you're back.
But,
okay, perfect.
I had to, I called a friend of mine. I go, look, I have to borrow money because I need to go over to Australia, and,
And what? Let me ask you this: sorry, you might have cut out again. I can hear you. It keeps saying subconference, so I don't know what that means. But I borrowed money. I borrowed money from a friend of mine so that I could fly over to Australia, and now my friend, she's got the fastest growing business in Australia. It's about it's about taking risks, about putting yourself where you're uncomfortable. And to see all the thousands of people that are being affected now because I took a risk when I could have had every excuse not to go. I'm proud of that. I don't know. Let me ask you this: you came in to your company and like you said, raised the bar. You wanted to be the Roger Bannister. And for anybody who doesn't know, Roger Bannister was the first person to run a 4-minute mile. And prior to him doing it, nobody ever thought it could be done, or lots of people thought it was impossible, like physically impossible for the human body. And Roger Bannister did it. And then it's a great story because shortly after, within the year following, there was I don't know the exact number, but maybe 37 other people did it as well or something. And now high school track runners, oftentimes are beating the 4-minute mile. But it's a great example of, just one person showing that it's possible, then suddenly people breaking through. And you obviously – oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, my God, now people are flying through. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it. And so I want to ask you, what do you think allowed you to move so fast? Because you came into a well-established company, a company that's been successful for a long time and has a long, successful track record, but a very established company. You kind of came in and you just went by storm, went by like a firecracker, and just started growing like crazy, faster than anybody had before you. What were some of the strategies or methods that you used, and that maybe you're teaching in your team, like your Australia group is the fastest growing group there? What are some of the things, or what do you think are the keys to why you had the success that you had and your team has had as well?
Well, I think there's one thing, first of all, I want to mention as well. And when I came into business, it was the recession. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, of course, yeah.
When I got started, so then everybody's like, oh, not right now, people don't this and that. And I'm like, no, people need to participate in their own rescue, And then I would say, oh, I'm going over to the UK. And they're like, oh, no, not the UK. The UK's dead. Well, guess what? The UK's not dead. My team, got a lot of people in the UK. And then they go, oh, don't go to Australia. Australia's dead. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, whatever. So I think that the first thing I love social media. I think it's really cool. And I think that people don't use it in the right way. I think that our job on social media is to create relationships. So I've always thought, how do you make more money? You add more value. So for me, social media has always been like, how can I add more value for people? So I think people saw, adding value now that everybody's doing it, and I got to think of some new thing to do. But, I would always have Motivational Monday. I would always have a friend of the week. I would always post somewhere I was going. I would always do a cool video, a cool recipe. So I think, I was telling you when I did this countdown for my 50th birthday, and I post pictures of me from when I was little all the way to, and share what was going on in my life back then. I missed a couple of days, a couple of years, like when I was 13 to 15. People were like, where are the pictures? And I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, seriously? Do you really want to see what's going on in my life? You've missed a day? But people want hope, our job is to share hope. But I didn't just do social media. I don't know. I think that people look and they go, I want some of that. So it became very organic. I never talked about our product or our company. But they would dig deeper.
Right.
So I think that works. I'm very consistent about we do a Monday night call every night, no matter what. I've modeled what my, upline does. She's done a call for 28 years, no matter what.
Right.
And then I love Zoom. I think Zoom is a great resource to build team. Again, I like that it's recorded. I like that you can see everybody's faces. I have a strong DMO. I tell everybody it's all your daily method of operation. What you do consistently is, what your life will be. So,
right, and that's the next thing I wanted to ask you about. Is I'd love to really dive into what you mean by that, your DMO, your daily method of operation. I know you have kind of your daily, and obviously we're talking about Miracle Morning and wanting to dive into your morning rituals as well. So maybe that's part of this conversation. But I'd love for you to walk us through what DMO is, what that means for you, kind of how you incorporate that.
So let me ask you a question. You brush your teeth every day?
I do.
That's part of your DMO. You get dressed every day?
I do.
You take, you eat every day. That's part of your DMO. What are the daily things that you do that you have to do in order to get it going? So for me, whether even before I was working at marketing or not, I've always known that what you do, is consistently is who you're going to become. So, for me, it's morning prayer for myself, appreciate something in nature, kiss my family or send them a message. That's just part of, that makes me more grateful. I think gratitude is the most important thing, and sometimes when you're around something enough, we take it, a little bit for granted. So right. I never wanted that to be who I was. So those things are important for my spirit, Obviously, you have things for your emotional state. I don't believe people really get themselves emotionally ready for the day. I'm so excited about the, morning motivation, because I believe that what you do first thing in the morning shapes your whole day. I wake up every day, I say, today is going to be the best day of my life again. And I assume that the day is going to be kick-ass, and there are going to be challenges, but it's going to help me to grow. I believe your I am statements. I'm loving, I'm honest, I'm compassionate, I'm God's girl, I'm full of faith, I'm Tomb Raider tight, I'm sexy, I'm a kick-ass coach, I'm an awesome mama, I'm a billionaire babe, I'm hooked on colonics, I'm hilarious, right?
Yeah.
Nobody can take that away from me unless I give it to them. And I think that sometimes in network marketing we give way too much power to people instead of filling ourselves up emotionally and just getting ourselves ready for the day. So those things are the rituals for me. I'm a huge person on I don't call them vision boards, because as my friend John Asraf says, the secret's great. It talks about intention, attention. But if you don't live the art of Goya, you got to get off your ass and do something, And
right.
I call it more manifestation board. Vision plus action equals manifestation. That's what Goya is. You got to get off your butt and get going. And
right.
So that my rituals get me going, get me motivated. That's my emotional juice for the day. I bought myself a car, spent $20,000 more to buy myself a car that took premium fuel, because I figured if I was going to be putting premium fuel in my car, I would have been putting premium fuel in my head and premium fuel in my body,
Right.
So,
yep.
What are you doing every day to put premium fuel in you? Is what I would ask everybody.
And do you, as part of your specifically kind of digging into your morning rituals more so, do you have, kind of a set, kind of precise morning routine that you kind of could walk us through, or does it kind of vary up ever, or how do you kind of do those daily things that are really important to you? Do some of them happen at night, or what does kind of your daily routines look like?
Okay. Obviously, you're not a parent.
I'm not a parent yet. We've got our first one on the way in a few months.
Yay! So I'll send you my book as a gift. It's here's the thing.
I would love it.
Here's the thing that I would share is that you got to be flexible within your routine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think a great thing I've learned from Tony is something that's called net time, no extra time, right? So you want to be able, I have my manifestation boards in my bathroom, but as I do, it's right there while I brush my teeth. So I'm doing my I ams as I'm brushing my teeth, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I'll go up and down on my toe, and I'll lymphocyze as I'm doing my brushing my teeth and lymphocyzing. And then I got my kettlebell right beside it, because I make sure I just lift up my kettlebell, as I'm doing that as well. Then my hairy sons are barking, in the house. So I've got to get down there, but as I'm taking them for a walk, I'm doing my gratitude questions. They got to go out, they got to go to the bathroom, so I got to make sure they're taken care of as I do that. So those rituals that are a necessity, I'm also, filling myself up emotionally. I got to be up at that 5:30 club because my son has to be at school by 6:30. You know what I mean? So while I'm doing that, while I'm making his breakfast, I'm on my call with my team from the UK, right? So I'm flexible within my routine, but I don't make it. I like to edify things that's really important for me to share with people where I get information from. So if you hear me refer to people, I'd encourage you to go look at more information on them. So one of my favorite people is a guy named Keith Cunningham. He's the rich dad from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he talks about keys to the vault. And his whole thing is, what are you going to make non-negotiable? I think it's non-negotiable for you to brush your teeth every day. You don't negotiate whether or not you're going to do that. So you got to make your morning rituals non-negotiable.
Right. Yes.
So that's growing your business. You got to make it non-negotiable. Checking in and doing income-producing activity, you got to make that non-negotiable, So, yeah, that's what I would say about my routines, my morning rituals.
Perfect. And what about evening? Do you have like a wind down or anything? Kind of do you do your reading, at certain times of the day? Do you do it in the evening or in the morning, or any evening rituals at all that you like to do?
I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm just thinking back and things like when I hope you'll call me in a couple of months. Go, Lauren, what do I do now? One is I take a bath every single night, and that's my kind of wind down type of thing.
Yeah.
While I'm in the bath, I'll write my gratitude journal. But everybody knows there's a great little book. It's called the Delaney Sisters Book of Wisdom, and they talk about the importance of your space, and everybody needs their space. They talk about, they were slaves, and their mom, they knew that when their mom sat at the table at her desk, there was the Bible, and then there was a picture of Lincoln on the wall and a picture of the family, and everybody knew that when Mama sat down at the table, that was Mama's time. And I think that as a ritual, everybody knows that when I'm in the bath, that's my time. That's my time of refuel myself. And then what it's done is it's given everybody else permission to have that ritual for themselves. Like when my son closes the door, locks the door, that's his time. It's not my space to go in his room. That's his time, and I need to respect that. Same thing with, my daughter and my other boy. That's their time. Or when my husband does, I need to, the importance of respecting people's downtime.
Right.
When I read, I like to read really short, short nuggets and short bursts. I'm probably more of an audio girl,
Sure.
audiobook girl, just because I'm in my car probably 7 hours a day between running to school and practices and, meeting people. So I'm in my car a lot. So my car is my library. I don't, listen to anything other than, I don't know what songs are cool these days, because I'm always listening and filling my brain with personal development and growing my business.
What about any? And I know this is probably a long list to draw from, but just the first things that come to mind. But any great books or audiobooks or even podcasts that you've, maybe it's something you've been listening lately, or just the ones that come to mind as some of those ones that have like shaken you. Sometimes you listen to an audiobook or read a book that is one of those ones that really legitimately starts you in a little bit different direction once you've read it. What are some of those ones that have really impacted you?
I got a long list.
I know. I'm sure it's a long list. So, the top few that are coming to mind, that doesn't have to be in any order or whatever, but just what are a few?
Let me do the top, 5 or 6. One, I'm going to have to brag about Tony again. I think his new book, The Money Master the Game.
It's amazing. It's the best financial book I've ever read. He killed it with that book. It was great.
And then another reason why is that probably the thing that stops most people is they have a really crappy belief about money. And if you can help people break through that limiting belief that they have about money, my friend who, got me going in network marketing, he says, money is a direct reflection of how many people you've helped. That changed my life, that one statement. And, I think that if anything, people should, it's a big, big book. And once again, I haven't read the whole thing. I know the program, because I've taught, some of the elements from that, from this book. But I think, really, if people asking themselves, what is money? What is not having money? Really looking at their plan to see, when they're financially independent, understanding all of those things. So I think that that's a big one. I love Eric Worre's books, the GoPro book and the Rise of the Entrepreneur. One, because I think that it breaks it down into real duplicatable steps for people. And I love the Rise of the Entrepreneur because that book, that DVD, really, seriously, there's no way you can deny that network marketing is the way to go. I love the book The One Thing by Keller. And I just think that, what's the one thing you could do to grow your business? What's the one thing you could do to have quality time with your kid today? And what's the one thing you could do for your health? So I think that's a great book. I'm not all the way through it. I know my son's a huge fan of the 10X rule. Barzone is another one. And, there's so many great books out there. I try to take one nugget, away from it. Any way that I can help, I'm here to help. I think also, for women, I wrote my book, Life Tune-Ups, to help women get back to their core. And I think that we have to realize, that we got to get back to our core, whether we're doing network marketing or whatever. And that's what morning rituals really do. They get you back to your core,
Yes,
and
I totally agree with that.
Let's get what's real, what's real and raw. So, yeah. That's it.
I love it. Well, so let me ask you this: any closing thoughts that you want to leave anybody with? I obviously want to ask you where everybody can catch up with you online, like what social media you prefer, if somebody wanted to reach out to you or something like that. But aside from reaching out to you, any closing thoughts for probably most of the people that are listening to this, most of our audience is representative of the network marketing world. Network marketing is mostly people that have been in for 6 months or less, and because unfortunately the turnover is so high, so many people quit on themselves so early on. But so what would you say to some of those people that are tuning in, that they're maybe earlier in their career, just getting started, 6 months or less, as the key to hitting their accomplishing what they're trying to accomplish?
Thank you. I think that, one, you have to hold a vision. You have to see, if you were to give it a strong yes for 3 to 5 years so that you could have the independence, stop thinking about just, oh my gosh, I'm not getting, I remember my kid's father, he was like, you're putting so much effort in and you're not getting the financial return right away. And I'm like, but I will. I kept hearing my upline go, just 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years. I'm like, okay, 3 to 5 years, And like some months, like when I was like stable with things and I was making like really good money, but like my bills were still more than what I was making. And I remember 1 month, 2 years ago, it was November, 2 years ago, my check like doubled. And I called my upline and I'm like, what happened? And they're like, you've hit liftoff. And I'm like, oh my God, it was 5 years. You know what I mean? And I was like, holy, this is really freaking cool. So I think you've got to hold a vision for yourself. You have to really put together a plan. I do believe that 90-day plan is super important. It's a lot easier to go fast than it is to go slow. Be elegant. Meet people where they're at. Don't push anything on people. Be great at building relationships. Plant the seeds. As, Jim Rohn says, there's a planting season and there's a sowing season. And they don't happen at the time. So, and then, once again, I'm just going to go back and quote some, people like Eric, just, say yes, and just figure it out. You got to get in the game. You got to, or Keith always says, you got to get in line and stay in line. Too many people jump around and thinking, that it's the company, it's this and that. My upline always says, the best recruiting tool is a mirror. Look in the mirror. You need to be your best distributor, and you need to look in the mirror and go, what do I need to work on to really grow me and to really go out there? So, my upline, they've been with the same company for 28 years. Pick a mission, pick a product that you're passionate about, and go for it. Just go for it. Find a home, and think of something bigger than yourself. Think about who you're going to help, who you're going to serve. What's the legacy that you're really going to leave behind? And really, honestly, always stay true to yourself. What feels right for you. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Again, I'm so appreciative of you taking the time to just contribute to this whole project that we're working on here with the Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. And I'm excited to get your story out to everybody. Where, for everybody that listens to this, where is the best place for, if anybody had a question for you or wanted to reach out to you, where would you prefer they hit you up, on social media or your website or whatever?
So my website is really easy. It's Loren, Loren, Slocum, Slocum, and I've got some videos that are up there I think you'll get some value from. I'm doing a manifestation class. I think that might be kind of fun. There's some videos up there for them, and they can sign up there. And then probably Facebook, Loren Slocum. Don't try to go to my personal page because it's all full. But anyway.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so
awesome.
much. It's awesome.
Loren, again, thank you very much, and for everybody tuning in, thanks so much for tuning in as well. And be sure to check out the other interviews that we have that are part of this interview series that you can find on our website, TMM for Network Marketers, and you'll hear more in the outro with all the details of how to find us. But thank you, everybody, and again, thank you, Loren, so much. I really appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Hey, this is Pat Petrini again, and just to wrap up really quickly, I just want to remind you that if you liked this interview, we've got a whole bunch more. If you go to our website, it's tmm4networkmarketers.com. That's TMM, like the Miracle Morning, F-O-R, networkmarketers.com. And, of course, if you haven't checked out the book yet, you can go to, first off, you get 2 free chapters of the book at tmm4networkmarketers.com. And then, of course, if you want to get the book, go to Amazon and just search for The Miracle Morning for networkmarketers.com, and you can get it paperback, Kindle, whatever. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you really enjoy the rest of the content that we've made available for you. Thanks a lot. Again, my name is Pat Petrini, and I'll see you on the next interview.